if you're going for looks and for trends, then I'm not the right person. But if
Hmm.
you really care about the logic and the reasoning, the science, then my content is for you.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. I am your host, G Torado. If you are tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show where I like to dive into discussions revolving around art and creativity. And I often sit down with other artists and creatives to, share conversations about their personal or their creative journey, their career, just sharing insights and personal experiences and all that good stuff. So if you are into these type of conversations, please consider subscribing and ring that notification bell so you know when a new episode is dropping. Now joining me today, this is her third appearance. Excuse me, third appearance, and the first time she kind of blew my mind because, to be honest, I got a little too high prior to the session, just anxiety and stress and all that stuff. But it was a very enlightening and educational sit down. And then the second time around, we elaborated more, try to pick her brain a little bit more just to get to know her better. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to sit down with her once again. So please welcome back interior decorator and color psychologist Mehnaz Khan.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out. When I was like amidst bringing the podcast back, I was yeah, I needed to get, I needed and I wanted to like sit down with other people again and just chat it up because after a while, like I don't know how other podcasters feel when they have guests normally, but it gets to a point where when I'm doing solo podcasts, I'm really just talking about personal like interests and hobbies and stuff like that. And I don't know, like depending who the audience is, will enjoy it if they know me well. But other than like for like a general audience who's not familiar with me, it's like it doesn't do that well. So it's just like after a while, it's like I just gotta stop sitting down and talking to myself, basically, and just like and just catch up with
Yeah.
everybody else out there, because
I enjoy your interviews because it's learning other people's journeys and how they, got into this and there's always something to learn from somebody else,
oh,
especially
absolutely.
as a creative.
Absolutely. And I say this quite often is that, you know, uh, from my perspective, anytime I'm learning something new about somebody else, it kind of opens some things for me as well,
True.
personally, because I'm like,
100%.
yeah, it's just like whether it's just comparison on like how we process things or react to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always,
True. And
especially,
people talk about the struggles on your podcast, so you know that you're not alone.
yeah, honestly, yeah, and yeah, it's I think it's just like a nice educational experience for everyone just on like personal level. So, and we try to find the good out of all everything that we've all been through. So, um but yeah, I appreciate you like reaching out because I was starting to feel desperate. I'm like, man, I need to spice things up with this podcast, especially kind of being on hiatus for a while after like the whole surgery and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you reaching out because I had a great time
Me
both
too.
times you've been
Me
on.
too. That's why when I saw your message on there, I was like, okay, let's do it again. Nothing to
Love
lose.
I love it. So yeah, bring me up to speed. Because there's like a couple things in my head that I remember like so like the algorithm is such a excuse my French because I always feel like when I talk to you I feel a little more like all right, I'm gonna be a little more proper. But
Be a good boy. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, well you do kind of bring
Yeah,
out
I'm a
the
mother of teenagers, so to be good.
you bring out a side of me that I feel like is a little more formal, which is it feels nice,
Yeah.
after a
That's so
while.
a lot of my work is based on personalities, understanding personalities and work. And that's who I am, perfectionist, formal. And let's talk about that. A few years ago, I think around 2017, 2018, there was this thing on Instagram all the time that perfectionism is procrastination. And I caught that too. And I was like, oh, is that what I'm doing? I'm not supposed to be a perfectionist. Then it took me a few months to realize that that's different. Some people, yes, make it an excuse, but that's not me. That's what makes me different from you. There's nothing right or wrong, but that's what makes us unique. And perfectionism is a huge part of who I am. Uh, an example I love to use is once we were at a dinner party and I love dessert. So I go to the parties for the dessert. Okay. And if the dessert is not like, my calories are going to be consumed. So I need the dessert to be really worth it. And if ice cream is put out, I get really upset about it. But that's what I realized. That's what made my dinners different than somebody else's dinner. I'm gonna have homemade desserts, 2 to 3 desserts, because so it's not about like ice cream is wrong or something. It's about our unique personalities. And that's what I see perfectionism as. Like you were saying,
Mm.
informal, perfectionist. That's my unique personality.
Yeah, and yeah, like I mean I resonate with that. Like I also label myself as a professionalist in terms of like when I'm working on my artwork.
Yeah, that's a
I mean,
hard one to criticize.
so many artists will relate to this on so many levels where you I mean, whether you finish a piece or not, just like when you
Yeah,
stop, I mean, I just speak personally. Like I always find myself, in that deep hyper focus because I'm trying to get something right, or I'm trying to fix something to make it right. So there, and even
yeah.
when I finish a piece, I'm staring at it afterwards. I walk
Oh.
away, have dinner, and then my wife will be like, "Why are you going back to the office?" I'm like, "I need to,
Yes.
you know, I might have
Can't
to
sleep
tweak
at
something."
night. Can't
So
sleep.
like there is that level. Yeah, I mean, I relate so much to
So
that professionalism.
what's your trick? How have you overcome or not let those flaws disturb you as much in the beginning? Is it
Uh,
just what do you think it is?
I mean, so whether this approach is right or wrong to the listener, I mean, or like if this might be I don't know, like a cope or something, but I just feel like I I think because now I'm like trying to like figure out if this is true or false. Now I'm like I second guess myself often. So I feel like in the moment the best way is to just because I work in the basement, so I just go upstairs in the living room and um that's what I use my wife's scheduling. Like when she comes home from work, that's when I start wrapping up so I can
Mm-hmm.
go be a
Yeah.
husband. So it's those moments where I'm able to sort of like fully step away and not like
Mm-hmm.
overthink the concern at the moment. It's just if I'll take a look the next day. But there are times where I see my wife when she gets home, and then we make dinner together, we eat, and then when we're kind of just in the lull of the night, she's scrolling on her phone or whatever, then I'll sneak downstairs and then like take another look. It's a step process, so I'm standing over my desk, and then the next thing I'm sitting at my desk, then I'm leaving over the artwork, and then the worst case scenario is I'm working on it again, and then my wife's like, "What are you doing down there?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hold on." Hour later, come to bed. Yeah, I just had to fix something. But sometimes I think most times I'm able to actually walk away from it. But there was an incident recently where there was a mishap on a piece I was working on, and even after like I was having dinner with my wife and it was like I was stuck in there. I was like, I'm ready to fix it and make the solution, but I still have to finish the painting before I do that. So I'm like, whatever how many steps ahead of the project and I'm just eating, just like staring off into
Yeah.
space or something.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think that actually answers your question, but just
So probably
that's
there is no coping mechanism. You just learn to live with it. Like
it's just
I
yeah, I
live by
guess
that.
it's just like what's the better way to handle this moment because
Yeah.
I stress and I stress easily, so it's just like I said, I was eating dinner with my wife, but I
Yeah.
wasn't fully present
I
because
know.
I'm just thinking about the solution I want to have for it.
I know.
So yeah, it's bad. I'd say the tougher issue I deal with is procrastination. Like you were
Hmm.
saying earlier, like creating these sort of excuses to avoid assessing, the task at hand. But we all, you know, I mean, I've been better about it. I actually did a post about it, like because a lot of artists, they whether they're on social media trying to find inspiration or motivation, whatever it
Yeah.
be. I learned this from the book The War of Art by Stephen
Hmm.
Pressfield, where instead of like trying to find the motivation, or he calls it the muse, let the muse find you. Basically, just
Hmm.
let it find you in action. Whether you're like I so in my video, it's just like my whole morning routine to get to the point where I'm ready to work instead of
Hmm.
just doing what I used to do, which would be sitting at my desk and I'm stressing, so I get like sort of like hyperhidrosis type symptoms where I'm just drying my hands so that I don't ruin the paper when I'm drawing. It's like a whole thing. And
Our phones make it worse. Just killing time in the phone, scrolling through social media. Got to be very mindful about that. Yeah.
yeah, you got to be mindful and honestly, it's like discipline for me. Like
Yeah.
I have my settings set so that like if I've been on for I don't know, I think it's like an hour or something of like
Yeah.
all together, say, you got 5 more minutes, now you gotta get off. And I really
Yes.
try my best to follow that. And I have like these sort of things where, because like my wife is really bad at just like once she wakes up, she'll grab her phone and, even if she's just going through emails and stuff, but like the immediate thing is to, blue light or screen
Yeah.
exposure. And like I always have this personal rule of like I charge my phone in the kitchen. uh,
Oh,
I try to give myself at least 30 minutes before I go on my phone to go through my emails and
yeah.
my agenda for the day. So I try to give myself 30 minutes, and during those 30 minutes I'm feeding the cats, drinking my pre-workout, making, putting my wife's lunch
Yeah,
together.
some other responsibility helps stay away. I
Yeah,
mean,
just
same for me because I have to get up and get the children up. There is no time for that until they're all gone. So, yeah, which helps.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because like sometimes I have this sort of inner like battle with myself about, having this structure, and then also kind of like I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, so I love his quote on being formless like waters, just like kind of just go
Yeah.
through the, kind of have like just go with the flow, right? But it's just sometimes it's just finding the balance. So I think I've developed this balance for some time now, but every now and then I fall off and it just but I think it's good to
I
have
have a
some
new,
sort of
you just gave
structure.
me your new podcast episode. We never talked about this. My husband is a big Bruce Lee fan.
Oh yeah? Oh man.
Big one.
Okay. Oh,
And
then
yeah,
so
learning a lot of boxing from there. That's his hobby, boxing. And
oh
now you have a whole
wow.
episode on Bruce Lee with
I
him.
was okay. We might have to have two sessions then.
Yes,
A ghost
two
a
different
ghost
topics.
conversation, and then one conversation where we just geek out about Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, yeah,
That is so funny.
that is
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of like going back to my original question, like how's everything been on your end? Um, business, family, personal life, all that stuff. Everything's been good?
Yeah. Well, if we're not talking about Instagram, I think everything is better when you take the Instagram out of it.
Yeah.
A lot of work, our work rotates around Instagram. We have to
Mm,
change things for the gram,
yeah.
unfortunately. Other than that, business is it's continuously you're learning, things are changing. That is something that took me time to understand that you need to keep changing things
Hmm.
based on what's working and what's not working. And again, family also. So talking about family, my oldest is going to college this fall.
Oh.
So yeah, this has been emotionally a tough year. Just
Oh.
like the first bird is flying the nest, and just
Hmm.
realizing like what this whole life was just a joke, which my mother never told me that it's only 17, 18 years, and then they go and you just, gave up your whole life to raise them, to do the right thing, and now they're gone. And what am I supposed to do in my mid 40s? What am I supposed to do now? My birds are
Yeah.
gone. So it's a lot of that realization this year has been a lot about that. We can talk about college applications. The economic
Yeah.
situation has definitely affected the admission process.
Mm.
And we have now come to a point where, so my son wants to do zoology. He wants to be a
Oh,
paleontologist. So
that's
somewhere a
awesome.
research scientist. Yes, yes, it's awesome. And which is like something that he's always been interested in. We were super cool with that. Being South Asian, it's either you're an engineer or you are a physician. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very out of the box, very out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And everybody expects that. It's like within the South Asian, Pakistani, Indian community, it's so obvious. My husband's a physician, so it's obvious to people that a physician's child is going to be a physician. So people don't even ask, like they just
Mm.
assume it. And I am out not of that mindset. Like, come on, he can be anything and whatever he wants to be, whatever he's interested in. But unfortunately, 2, 3 weeks ago, I had to have this conversation with him that keep your options really open because the situation of especially the education in this country is not, the academia is not the same right now.
Mm-mm.
Um, Even 6 months ago, zoology, perfectly being a paleontologist was possible, but it's so bad right now. So maybe you want to keep your options open and you might have to be a physician. Lord knows. It's been
Yeah.
bad, yeah. Applications have really been affected just in the past 4 months. It's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
can imagine. It's yeah, 'cause so I don't know if this like it correlates with what you're talking about, but I do feel like even in a lot of careers, like nothing is sort of linear anymore. Like a lot of
Mm,
people, and I maybe COVID was like a major factor, like, given, because we were all quarantined, like it really made us have to rewire our brains and be a little more multifaceted. I
mm,
often talk about being multifaceted just as a person or like as an artist. Like we like to, for the most part, if you want to call yourselves just creatives, like we have multiple like art forms or mediums or just
mm,
like different outlets to use our creativity. And I think that kind of applies to, like, I don't know if you would call it like blue collar work. Like people are always going to have like a side thing, but now it's like you really got to consider it as sort of like, part of your career. It's like if this
mm,
doesn't work out, this is the thing now,
mm.
or this could be the next thing.
Yeah,
Um
definitely in this generation, in our generation, that has started changing. And previously, like our parents, they would do the same thing their entire life. It's like you just join that company and you have to be loyal with that company and you don't even move, go to a different firms. But that started changing for us. And the future generations, that's going to be, what is that thing there was this Instagram video where it's like I'm taking a micro retirement. See, they work for a few years and they save their money, then
for
they
a
take a
few
micro
years.
retirement for 2 years, and then they come back, and that's becoming some like for me, that big gap on the resume was like your career is over if you have that big gap on your
What
resume. What is this generation? Is it Z?
is it?
A?
Well, is it alpha?
Alpha is still too young, right? I don't know.
Alpha's
I
like
don't
is
remember the
alpha, I
years.
think, is the youngest. So cause like I'm an older
So what's
millennial.
after ours? Let's see.
Well, I don't know if are we the same
Yeah, we're
generation?
not the same. You're much younger.
Am I?
I think so.
I'm well, I was born 86.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want me to? So
You
I'm 3 years
look,
older than you. That's fine.
I was raised not to ask a
I
woman's
know.
age,
I was
so
raised the same way.
you can say if we're
Yeah.
in the same region, if we're the same generation or not.
Yeah.
Because I so yeah, I'm an older millennial. Because I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm in between. I
Yeah.
grew up with older siblings, so like I relate a lot with like other like Gen Xers,
Okay.
the generation
So
before
I'm
me.
83.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think. Yeah, I
That's
so maybe. I mean, I would have to look it up, but so
yeah.
I don't know if that's like if you're like the
It's
on
still millennial.
the younger end of Gen X, or if you are
I think millennial starts at 1980.
oh, okay.
I think that's
Okay,
what it
so I
is.
guess we're both millennials, or
Well,
I
let's go with that.
say because like people like to you know how they everyone categorizes a group of people like generally. So
Yeah.
you know, when people are referring to millennials in general, but the things that they describe, like the traits,
Yeah.
it's like on the younger, like the younger side of millennials. I'm like, because a lot of stuff that I mostly relate to is like my older brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that happens. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's like weird. It's like
I don't
some,
have older siblings, but because I have kids who are teens, so you start
yeah,
relating to that, or and you change your ways. So,
yeah.
we try to be
So,
friends.
so I imagine your kids might be Gen Alpha, perhaps, or the younger.
Oh my gosh, do I
I
have to
have to
look?
look it up.
I'm like, we have to look now. So I would say the kids who are in their 20s, let's say between 23 and 27, that probably that video that I was talking about, that's what it was.
So I'm looking at it here. Gen Alpha is the demographic between 2010 and 2014. That's Gen Alpha.
2010 and 2014. So I have
Yeah.
one from 2012, a 2011, and a 2014. So that's Alpha. And
Yeah.
then my oldest is 2007.
So they're probably counted as Gen Z. I'm looking it up right now. Oops, what the heck? I said Gen Z, not Gen 2. What the hell? Um, so Generation Z between 1996 and 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm learning something here, like officially.
Mhm.
What's after Gen Alpha then? I have to know.
What's before Gen Z?
Before Gen Z is millennials, I believe.
Okay, so the millennials at the closer to Gen Z, I think those would be in their 20s right now. Oh no, Gen Z,
Okay.
early Gen Z would be in 20s.
Oh boy. So the
Yeah, early
generation of
Gen Z.
the generation that so the generation after Gen Alpha, uh, which is those
Which is
born
now.
between 20, well, this year and
Yeah,
39 is Generation Beta.
beta. Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder how.
I
I mean,
wonder
kids are
what's
not even born the same way anymore.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, what if that changes where it's you know, it says here like this uh cohort is defined as those born or and then whatever the next thing would be. You know, like born or like artificially designed designed in this year or something
Hmm.
radical. Boy. Well, that's yeah, oof. Yeah, so talking about, you know, the Asian culture, I mean,
Hmm.
Filipinos is that's the thing. That's, you know, the whole what's the word? like, we're known for being nurses. Like, so like these things like they
Yeah.
exist for a reason. But yeah, my parents, although my mom
Yes.
was specifically a nurse, my dad was a nurse and a math teacher. But like I mean, yeah, nursing runs in almost like it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Stereotype for Filipinos. It was in one of my
Successful. You are successful if you're a nurse, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Definitely in the Pakistani culture, 100%. If you're a physician, you're smart. That's it. That was the definition of being smart. And then the second smartest was engineers. And
Yeah.
especially the ones who went into art, they were duffers. That was as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, yeah, the emotions that you're feeling with, your firstborn, right? Your firstborn going
Yeah,
away
he's my
for,
first one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like with my experience with my parents, because I was the first and only one to go away for college, even though I was
Okay.
only going to
Yeah.
Philly, from Jersey to Philly, which is, whatever, a couple hours
Yeah, still you're
maybe.
not coming home at night, so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard, like my mom was definitely had to adjust. Like she would like
Mm,
miss having me around, just hearing
yeah.
the noises, all like the, atmospheric sounds that would come from my bedroom. But yeah, I don't even know how my dad processed it. My dad is such a stoic person that it's like very rare. And like
Huh.
again, if I'm gonna like be generalizing the like the family dynamics in whether Filipino or just Asian family dynamics in general, like they were I don't know, like I there's a lot of things I don't know about my parents, like or especially my dad. My dad's just like so quiet. Like if he's gonna
Yeah,
teach me something, it's about like how to tie a knot or so, but I don't.
exactly.
I mean, I'm learning as of late, like these things about
Yeah,
him and his
yeah.
family. I'm like,
Oh,
jeez,
same here. Same here. We're
dang.
coming close now. Yeah. Oh, we used to be scared of my dad. Just scared.
Yeah.
I don't know why. We wouldn't go to him, talk to him, just scared.
But what's funny is that my mom opens up to my wife like very easily.
Oh,
And it happened
yeah.
like sometimes like my wife's name's Nicole, she'll just come up and was like, "Yeah, your mom just cornered me in the kitchen and told me about this stuff,
Yeah.
whether it's like family drama or whatever." Usually it's either family drama or like dirt. Because my mom is very quiet. Like I always jokingly describe them as like the typical Asian parents like you see like in an anime or in a cartoon, just like small and quiet
Uh,
because they are short. I'm the tallest in my family. I'm
yeah.
5'6". But yeah, like my mom is just she just observes and just collects data, and it's so
Mm,
funny. So she'll just kind of, according to my wife, she'll just kind of like catch her out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, blah blah blah, something whatever is happening," or
trusts
I
her.
see this. Like but yeah, it's yeah, like there's so much that like I've yet to learn about my parents, and I have to learn it through my
Mm,
siblings for most of the time. Like so yeah, that dynamic, again, I don't know how my dad was really, I mean, he was probably just working his butt off,
that's the
to
thing.
keep
Yeah.
me in college. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
the about I
Yeah.
guess
That's the thing.
when we start talking about these different generations, like these younger generations have so much like time and energy to like process every single thing where I guess I won't speak for both of us, but I feel like for the most part for some people it's just like we were just so like working or you know whatever
Yeah.
it be. It's like now everything, I mean, maybe because of these, just like
Yeah.
things are
Gotta
so
change. That's true.
like just the way, yeah, the mentality, the way we process everything, data is like absorbed like so fast and spread so fast. It's
Mm. Think
yeah,
forgotten past also because there's
yeah,
just too much information.
yeah. But it's I mean, I think it's good to, yeah. I mean, as long as like you process like what you're going through, and
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know what your relationship is with your son, right? Your son we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, my son.
Yeah, yeah. Like you are you like are you close with your kids like on an emotional level, or is
I
it
want to say
different?
that. I don't know if they're going to answer the same way. Right? Oh
Are
my gosh.
were you a
Yeah. Because
helicopter parent, or were you like kind of
yes,
yeah?
yes,
I would
and
be.
no also because he's gonna go. He's going away for college, and he's gonna be 4 or 5 hours away.
Mm,
So as
that's a
much
good.
as I want to obviously keep him, but I've never said that to him because obviously there's just so much in the world to explore and so much to do. Of
Yeah.
I can't keep him for my benefit. And
Yeah.
also because of the fact that I gave 20 years of my life just to raise him and forgot
Yeah.
my career and forgot about myself. So you gotta be somewhere, you gotta be a helicopter parent because the world out there is not that safe. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And when I'm like constantly repeating something and they find it nagging, like saying the same thing again, I'm like, I'm your mother. You remember, I get paid for that. I get paid in good deeds. So I have to do it, right? And then he's like, yeah, fine. I'm like, that's my job to keep repeating the same thing again and again. So what should I do? So then
Yeah,
they're like,
like
that just like calms them down, like that she knows that she's annoying and she's nagging. But then she's the mother, so she's gonna do that, right? So sometimes I tell them, like, can you just imagine if they call my mother, their grandmother, Nana. So I'm like, can you imagine if Nana was your mother? Like, oh
mm,
yeah. So you're a better mom. That just helps. Like Nana would be so strict.
yeah. Yeah,
I bribe them. So you got a better
I
mother.
mean, hey, I kind of like I would have definitely been a helicopter parent if I had a kid for sure
Yeah.
because I like I have so
Yeah.
much paranoia and everything. That's why again I second guess everything I if I'm like responding to something because I'm like, wait, is that true? Just because like I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be wrong. I wouldn't want to be,
Mm.
lying. But yeah, it's like, I think it's like when the whether it starts becoming like if your kid starts complaining like, oh, you gotta leave me alone. Like I think when there's an opening for like clarification, like a dialogue about it, it's like, look, this is why I'm always
Mm.
saying this. Like I think just like having those just like those brief moments of like clarity of like, hey, like I'm this is a learning thing. Like you gotta like I'm this way because this has happened or something like that, and I wouldn't want this
Yeah.
to happen to you. Like
Yeah.
these things are gonna help guide you through your life because I made so many mistakes not knowing these things or like whatever the context
Yeah,
may
that
be.
definitely brings the guards down when you let them know, I made this mistake too.
Yeah. I think it's
And
just like the setting too, right? Like if you're lashing, like if it turns into a loud screaming match or like a loud argument, then that's like you gotta, yeah, I think I mean, this is so much easier said than done, right? So it's like when you find like sort of an
it is,
opening to
that's true.
de-escalate.
Because teenagers, you want to remember it's all the hormones and emotions, everything. Sometimes you are not going to make sense. And sometimes it's like I'm the worst parent on planet Earth. That happens too. You get to hear those things too. It's just part of it. But then other days, Mama is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But it's
it's also a balance of if I am the more, the helicopter parent, the other parent has to just take a step back or be the nice one and be on his side.
yeah.
So we have to remember to do that also. If I'm the one who's really angry right now, my husband can't be at that moment. So one has to, that's important. You both can't start, at
Yeah,
the
the
same
whole
time.
like good cop, bad cop kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? But you just, change the labels a bit. It's just like, yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta
So
have
that always be the good cop.
you
I
have
get
the
to be
yin
black.
yang. You gotta have yin yang because it's like, yeah, like you have different like people have different energies. So,
Right.
I'm definitely like when we just talk about relationships, like in my marriage, like I'm the emotional one, and whether it's like, with anger or just like sadness, like my wife is more stoic than I am, I think.
Hmm.
So, and yeah, it's just like you got to have that sort of balance in like any relationship, especially when you have kids, because like that's why kids have like the favorite parent, I guess. It's like the one that they can like they know they can open up to without ridicule or anything like that. Like, yeah, and like
Yeah.
really, yeah, that might be your favorite because you just kind of feel that security a
Depends
bit.
on the situation.
Yeah, depending on, yeah, of course, the situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, I guess it's just like when you find yourself kind of like getting emotional about the that commute. It's yeah, you just gotta dig deep
But
for the
that's life. I
positive.
mean, nothing we can do about it. Um, but it is, yeah, sometimes it makes no sense because now he's gone, right? He's not coming back. 4 years
Well,
of
he'll come back.
college and then whatever he wants to do his math. I mean, he'll come back, but it's not like he's not my baby anymore.
Yeah.
Master's job, and then getting married, and then you have to let them go. Like he has his
Yeah.
life, his wife, his children to live. So it's not the same. And then
Yeah,
by the time all of this happens, you realize I'm old. What am I supposed to do now? And you know,
it's just like a whole it's just a new chapter in your life, his
yeah,
life, the whole family's life. Because yeah, I imagine
it
there's like
is.
stages, like every and then and like let's say stories wise, like every story has like those, you got your climaxes and you got like the third act, all this like stuff. I'm breaking it down kind of like as a dork, but like this is the way I kind of process it.
And my thing is, it is a new chapter, and that's fine. The only biggest difference is now in this new chapter, I'm going to be in my 50s. I'm no more in my 20s or 30s. So, and nothing is the same, right?
Hmm.
So, we'll see when we live it. I can't say anything about. We'll see. But that's something that is a little that just concerns me a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
It's not in I'm not in my 30s. There can't
I
do
mean,
things the same way.
if I talked about the stuff that I experienced after moving out of home, I mean, yeah, it's like an exciting time on both ends. It's like it's so much wonder and so much, a lot of worry. It's a
Yeah.
lot of things. So,
Yeah.
I think it's just you try to take it a day at a time, and you have your husband who's like with you, every step of the way, as long as like you communicate it when you think you need to. I think it'll be just fine.
I will, yeah.
Easier said than done for like anyone else. But it
Uh,
really seems like that's the ongoing thing, is just like really
yeah.
kind of just taking it a step at a time, because yeah, they're gonna have these like major impacts in the future. But I mean, if you are again like talking about relationship with the parent, I think as long as you have a healthy relationship with your son, like I think you
Mm.
should be fine.
Yeah.
Like I think like for me, like there was a lot of, again, because my parents were just so quiet, and like they had like this certain level of discipline that
Mm.
and then if your son is also surrounded by good people, like genuinely
Mm.
good people, he should be fine. Like
Yeah.
I've at some point I identified the fact, I'm like, oh, I like hung out with some really bad people that kind of, you know, it could have been worse, the
Mm.
ending, but like, so like, yeah, if I had, surrounded myself with better people, especially during college, yeah, I mean, that has a huge impact. But yeah, at least like your son, if you know these things now, like my parents didn't
Yeah.
know, because I
Yeah.
wasn't like that open with them. So
I
again,
think I've
having
done
that
a good
open,
job. I've differentiated between the good and the bad. The rest is as much as I can do, or I could do, right?
yeah, yeah.
The
But
rest
look,
is up.
on the brighter side, you do get to focus a little more on yourself, because like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard, right? Like, because you're
It is,
located
yeah.
with your mom,
It's going to be hard. Yeah.
but there'll
I
probably
and
be moments when you're like, oh
that
yeah,
is
we can do
a
this.
huge part of building this business right now. And I only do it part-time right now. So
Okay.
when the kids are gone, I have something started.
Mm.
And then I can go full time and put more time and energy into it. Right now, I don't want to do it full time. Don't want to take it away from their time. I mean,
Yeah.
so it works.
Yeah, it's new. It's gonna take a moment to digest it and like readjust, I imagine. I just
We'll
have to
see.
like
Next
put that
year,
out
we'll
there.
meet again next year.
I
Oh, that would
imagine.
be the second semester, so we can talk about it, the progress.
It'll be fun.
It will be fun. Yeah.
And like you're creating more memories. Like there's like I think I think there's a lot more good that's gonna come out of it because yeah, you're gonna have more
Oh,
memories
sure,
and you know,
sure.
and I think and that's like I mean I think that just goes along with any like reflection of personal growth is that when you kind of look back from like where things had started and then kind of saw that progression and how things actually got better, it's like, damn, this was worth it.
It always is, yeah. It always is.
Yeah.
Hey, we got very emotional and
Uh,
personal. Well, part
that's
of
the
life.
rated G.
That is part of life. So,
Yeah, it is. It is, and then I don't know, like maybe that's like my brain is kind of like wired like that as of now because like I like went through some major surgery, so there's like some things
mm,
I feel like, I've been taking for granted and really
yeah.
trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
realign like my focus
Yeah.
moving forward in life. So it's just like,
Well, that is true. I think these are the years, when you enter your 40s, going mid
Mhm.
40s, that's you start realizing things that we just took for granted and just the small things that weren't a deal at all. You got to be careful about them. You have to be mindful about them, and they are a blessing too. It doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah, and it's funny because like yeah, it's like I would every now and then, it's been a while, or maybe I kind of just do it and not realize it, but like I really do try to like have like these quiet moments throughout the day before I really start working.
Mm,
I guess this is like part of my rituals, like yeah, like having these moments of silence to like yeah, just like process all these thoughts. Otherwise I'm gonna be kind of like emotional, like and distracted from working on my projects. But yeah, I just like I'm just a very I'm well again, I'm just like in a very reflective state because yeah, I'm
mm,
getting older, so even like these like physical ailments and things that are happening with me health wise now, it's like it makes me kind of go back and think about all the stuff and like seeing the good and the bad out of some of the things
mm,
that I've done,
yeah.
like even like trying to get like, um, always like striving to get better. Like sometimes,
Mm,
you might take a step back because you kind of went too far on one thing, and
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
now you're kind of reaping the, you're kind of reaping. What's the word? What's the phrase? Well, like so for my instance, like the past 10 years I've had like such rigorous like training routines,
Yeah.
always trying to like lift the heaviest I could and all this stuff and and while
Not the
that's
same
all
anymore.
good and everything, I've like I've definitely damaged a lot of joints in my body. So it's like there's just like these like kind of things. I'm getting older now, dealing with
Yeah.
arthritis and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is where this is from now, because like
Yeah,
and
that
that's
is
like
true.
part of life. But I like not to get like too like like I mean I feel like I've been philosophical from the beginning. But, like even like religious wise, like this is I think this is all like really kind of part of like that, what's the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life is just kind of like experiencing things and like figuring out how you process it and just, always trying to come out on the better end. This is like this
Mm,
is what I've learned and this is how I've sustained this quality of life, you know?
mm,
I mean, I'm
yeah.
like speaking
Every day you just
broadly.
got to be better than yourself, not
Yeah,
just
and,
competing.
and these are all
Yeah.
just like virtual things I like to talk about because, like, everyone's going through something different, right? Not even just
Yes,
artists, but
everyone.
yeah, just like anyone. But, because I'm an artist, you're an artist. Like this, like I think it just
We
applies to like
we feel
everything.
it a lot more. Emotional people, right?
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, my wife always says that too. Just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, you're an artist, so you're gonna
Yeah.
like when she's
You're
talking about
emotional.
me
Oh, I
to
can
her
cry
coworker.
anytime. I can cry anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, I have these moments like, in the showers and stuff or like brushing my teeth. I'm just like just going through the ways of it in my head. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I clock it, I have to do it before I clock in. Otherwise, I'm distracted when I'm working on my projects or like
Yeah.
commission work.
You clock yourself in? like
Mentally,
physically do or just
figuratively
mentally?
speaking, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, again, talking about like that structure and so in
Yes.
free flow and in like your schedule, like I kind of I still like that sort of like like a job shift kind of mindset
Yeah.
of like, like obviously I'm not
Yeah,
gonna,
within those hours. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
like I
it's easy
mean,
for me as my structure or schedule is rotates around the kids, so it's all fixed, which helps
hmm?
a lot. Like these are the hours for me to get this done, or so it
Yeah,
helps.
it just helps me know when I'm being productive or
Yeah.
not, right?
Yeah.
And there's gonna be like moments throughout my day where, yeah, there's gonna be some slow moments. Maybe I
Yeah.
get distracted by
What
social
does
media
research
or
say? I think it is only 2 hours a day you're really productive. Even like for that 8-hour workday, nobody's
yeah,
productive throughout the 8 hour day. You checking, just meetings and chattings or checking emails or this and that. But you're
yeah.
really productive for just 2 hours. So
Yeah, I'm actually glad I'm glad you brought that up because I've either with somebody or just by myself on the podcast. I had this conversation because I would talk to um Nicole's relatives, and they're like retired and had
hmm.
successful careers. So I'm like, oh man, like, and I don't know how it got into it, but we started talking about just like work schedules, and I'm like, do you guys like really like work 9, 12 hours straight? Because I
Yeah.
because they know I'm an artist,
Yeah.
self-employed, so I'm
You work
like,
from home. So
there are times where I don't just draw for 8 straight hours. A lot
yeah.
of times, half the times like I'm lucky to have 4 hours of just straight creating. Um, but I well
Yeah.
I'm sure you relate to this when it comes to content creating like that. I've always underestimated how much time that
Oh,
takes.
it takes so much more time.
Like I
So
hate it.
much more time. Yeah. I
Like
mean, yeah, people who are not doing it don't realize it. And I don't know even if we want to share, but it takes a lot of time. A lot
yeah,
of
I so again, like I try to like multitask in a somewhat responsible way. So when I'm doing sort of mundane things, even throughout
time.
my like morning routine, I'm always doing notes. That's the thing. Like whatever I'm doing throughout the morning,
Mm,
I'm still like in my notes creating drafts or
mm.
post ideas
Yeah,
or project ideas. Like I'm always in my notes. If I'm not
yeah.
drawing or editing
Oh,
videos,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I love
honestly,
I
you
love
think of
making
it
videos.
that way, like 24/7. There's a thought in the middle of the night, wake up and you gotta write it now. In fact,
Yeah.
all the best ideas are in the middle of the night. And when you wake up, they're whoosh gone.
Stand-up comedians go through that all the time.
Mm.
You know, I don't know if you've ever watched Seinfeld, but there's an episode where he's like,
Yeah.
I think he's sleeping, and then he wakes up from a dream, and then he like thought this was like a funny joke, and he writes it down, and then just throughout the episode, he's trying to figure out his notes because he couldn't understand them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
have.
that happens. Oh my gosh. I just wake up and I'm like, that was the best idea, but what was it?
Oh yeah,
That
ooh, yeah, those are the worst. I mean, I can't recall the last time I've done that. I feel like I'm pretty good at like getting it down on my notes on my phone, but yeah, it's just a matter of like, yeah, it's just like when is it happening? Because a lot of times it's like if I'm with my wife or out with friends, it's just like, yeah, it just comes out whenever
yeah.
or in the middle of my problem at night is not even dealing with like, well, no, never mind. I do think about projects before I go to bed. So yeah, it's just like it creeps up on you. Creeps up on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I want like, can my brain just shut down for a few hours? I don't want anything running through my head while I'm sleeping. Sometimes that happens that I cannot shut it down at all.
So when that happens,
Mm.
do you notice a difference? like when it happens, let's say if you were in a room where the color palette of that room is more calming, do you
Hmm.
notice like a difference of like sort of like the severity of that thought process of it's like, oh, I gotta write notes, like, or something comes in the head? Does it happen less when you are in a calming room?
It depends on what happened the day before. If it
Mm,
was like a lot of work, so if I was, off for a week and a lot of work is piled up, depends on that. But
mm,
otherwise, there's a huge difference in the sleep, brother. And that's the
mm,
sleep thing you're saying. I was, yeah, if I'm somewhere else and not in the bedroom that I created for applying that whole science, it definitely affects my sleep.
mm.
And I always want to go back home and like now I can sleep.
How many hours of sleep do you typically get?
Let's say so from 10 to 6.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a
nice.
sound 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
For 10 for sure. Could be a little sooner, but 10 to 6 is.
How many of those hours are good quality sleep?
So it takes 30 minutes to I won't lie that it used to be very different. It would take me longer.
Mm.
But now it's like at least 30 minutes and then I'm dozed off. Yeah.
Um, I wish I could remember the name of this breathing technique, but I like saw this thing on Instagram Reels of someone
Hmm.
talking about this, like it's almost like box breathing but minus one step, so it's like a triangular breathing exercise
Okay.
that you do five to I think at least five rounds of, where it's like 4 second inhales, 7 second holds, and then 8 second exhales, and you do that about
Okay.
five times. It like again, I'm no scientist or any of that kind, but it like does something
Yeah.
for your
The
brain
oxygen
where,
going to your brain and everything. Yeah. So
yeah.
you said triangular breathing to
I mean,
sleep
that's how
fast. Is
I describe
that what
it,
it is?
but I don't remember the name of it, but
Okay.
I've done it. There I would say, because I would do it, often or frequently, and there have been, I'd say, more times than not that it actually worked.
Hmm.
But I also attribute to not having my phone around. Like I keep that in the kitchen. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm lucky if my wife's not on her phone, because she's phone in the bed, whether right before bed or right after bed, phone's in hand. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I always
My
get on
husband
occasion.
reads, so he reads on the phone now, obviously, but he can't sleep without reading. So the last thing he does is read,
Okay.
but it's no more books anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think there's like like research that kind of explains like doing something like that, like reading or maybe like a puzzle or something before bed
Mm.
helps. Like I guess because you're like really working your brain, so you get tired out, and it helps you fall asleep easier. But
I also feel like you were mentioning, us as content creators, we have to be very mindful of like, what we're consuming and how much time we're spending. That has definitely helped I hear people who are not content creators, my friends, in person, because they're not content creators, they have a problem with mindless scrolling through Instagram or whatever, TikTok. I don't use TikTok at
I
all,
don't
and
either.
Facebook very rarely, just because I'm a part of a few groups, but it's Instagram only. And that also has become very easy for me. Okay, I'm done. That's all that I needed to consume. And
Mm,
once I put it down, I don't need to, look at my phone before sleeping or anything. I think that has changed our mindset
for sure.
as,
Well, yeah, because like there's a lot of chemical reactions happening
mm.
in your
Oh
brain
yeah,
when
the
you're
blue light.
scrolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dopamine rushes, and I'm sure, like, emotionally speaking, like, you see something that gets you triggered, and then like you're mad or whatever, or excited, and then
Oh,
something
for that,
sappy.
I don't open my work emails after 5 p.m. because that initially I used to do that. I would check my work emails every time in the beginning. And then there's a client email, and the client has said something that triggers you, because again, we're emotional people, and this is very hard if somebody says something, they're like, oh, they're pointing at me or they didn't like my work or anything. So I
Yeah.
learned it the hard way. I'm like, no checking my emails after 5 p.m. and I'm not destroying the rest of my day. It's gonna happen in the
Yeah.
morning. That's it.
Yeah, you kind
I
of like have to distract yourself with like real present life to be like, I don't need to worry about what's on my phone
yeah,
right now. Like,
yeah.
notifications or
I don't
whatever.
care what yeah.
Because when I
Yeah,
see
it
those
used to trigger a lot.
notifications,
A client would say something and then now I'm upset. Like, why?
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, I've been like very what's the word? I'm very aware of my algorithm, like if I see a couple of like the same type of videos that will create a certain reaction from me, I
Hmm.
either I just scroll past it till or I just kind of switch off, like I just
Hmm.
put the phone away.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I only consume what I need to consume and I'm not looking at
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, and even just like what's
Gotta
on my,
outsmart
like
the
if I
algorithm.
do want to just kind of scroll just to like, whatever, just to shut off, like, because things will sneak into your algorithm. So like, sometimes if I'm looking at a couple of like food posts and
Hmm.
I've watched 5 to 10 seconds of it, and then the next thing you know, I'm seeing all these how these
All
dishes
the
look,
food posts.
and I'm like, oh, quick! I just like scroll past till I see
Yeah,
something different, and then I let
yeah,
that replay
yeah.
once or twice,
Training
and then
the algorithm got outsmarted. Like, you don't tell me what I'm gonna see. I tell you.
yeah,
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 yeah.
exactly. And it's so funny because often will hear people complain about their algorithms and stuff, and it's like, hey, it's you, like you gotta switch
Yeah,
it
you're
immediately.
watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you
that's true
gotta
too.
stop. You gotta, yeah, switch it up somehow. Like,
Stop yourself
just
from tapping on that post. That's true.
like if you're already in it, like especially with reels, like I don't use TikTok either. So reels, like if you catch yourself watching 10 seconds of something you wish you didn't, it's like you gotta now just like watch 10 seconds of something else that's, healthier for your mind. Like
Oh Lord.
if you've been watching three debate videos and then like you're just always like hyped up, it's like go watch a kitty video a couple times or a puppy video. Like switch it, make it better somehow. But it's just so funny because people are like, oh, I don't get the algorithms. Like it's geared towards you. So like whatever
Yeah,
you interacted with, that's why you're seeing
true,
so much of it. And
true.
and the downside of that is like, I was saying this with my last guest, who was a college buddy of mine. We've been connected since college, but if I, God forbid, if I don't like their most recent post, like I'm not gonna see them for a while. And then you get that like random curiosity of like, oh, I wonder what
Yeah.
Mehnaz has been up to because I haven't seen
I feel
anything
like
of it.
that's happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
And I've been asking people, is Instagram showing you my post? Are you seeing my stories?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you use your I really like look into my insights more now, like especially like the
yeah, yeah.
engagement.
So
Like,
that's the one thing in the morning that I have to check.
yeah, same.
The numbers, because it's all about the analytics. And lately, when they, I think, changed the algorithm a month or 2 months ago,
Mhm.
um, things are weird.
See, that's what I need to get better at is keeping up when things are actually updating because I'm kind of still like sort of on the fly in terms of when I realize something has changed. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This was 5 months ago.
I
This
write
changed.
down, I even write down my numbers every month to compare them.
Mm,
Every month I have my date set. Like
that's
I
good.
need to know what worked or what did not. Not that I can figure out every time, but if I can find a pattern or something. But I do
Yeah.
write them.
Yeah, I sort of do that with my reminders. Like I rely on my reminders app. Like
Hmm.
that has like a lot of my notes and my schedule laid out. And yeah, like I have a it's like a social media posting schedule. So I have all my content laid out for the week. And
Yeah,
then for
yeah.
each
Gotta do that.
day I change the time, be like, this is when you have to post it. Like I have my time set. And yeah, I
Oh,
go like
okay. So your time is not the same. My time throughout the week, it shows the same time is the best time.
no, it's always in the same rate. So like
I think it's a 3 hour
Saturdays.
window, right?
What's that?
Instagram shows a 3 hour window.
Yeah, so I know on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, sometimes Tuesday, usually around noon, that's where I get the most engagement. But
Mm,
then during the second half of the week, it's between noon and 3 o'clock.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I have to keep track of two timelines because I'm running my YouTube channel, and that
Mm.
algorithm it's those numbers are a little bit different where
How is YouTube doing for you? And are you creating content that's completely different from Instagram, or are you using the same content?
it's generally the same,
Hmm.
just less personal.
Okay.
Um but it's generally the same. Like you're gonna get some dorky stuff, art, mostly on the creative side. Like if I'm
You
doing,
create a lot of content. A lot. A lot. Well, how many posts do you have on Instagram? Like a few
I
thousand?
mean, are we thinking like, are we including stories, reels?
No, no, just your post, the number that you can see on the feed. So the posts and reels, you have a few thousand,
Oh yeah, I have a
right? You create a lot of
I
content.
do. Yeah, I do. Well, it really comes down to like I love making videos in general. Like
Mm.
when I growing up as a kid, my buddies and I we used to make home movies all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, like so we didn't have middle school. We had elementary school, so it was like pre kindergarten to eighth grade. But
Okay.
around I think it was like our sixth grade, um, because our main teacher, homeroom teacher, knew that we made home movies. So during like leisure period, she would let us play like our home movies for the class, and like it became a
Okay.
thing. So
Okay.
yeah, we've always like we would just
That
always try to
boosted your
make funny
confidence.
videos, and like
Yeah.
now it's just like everybody's a content creator. So um,
Yeah.
and it just yeah, like it's all like changed. So yeah, I like the editing. I like the editing, the filming, the writing, if you want to call it that. Like I enjoy that, but I guess like I think because everything is like hyper, like people are hyper reactive, um, the attention span is shorter. Like everything is just go
So
go
much to
go, and
consume.
yeah, the speed
Yeah,
is
there's just
just
so
like
much to
it's
consume.
such an
Yeah.
adjustment. So having to like even just plan ahead is like there's burnout.
Yeah,
So
you need to plan. Yeah, agree.
yeah, I've been getting a little bit better at planning out my things now, so there's less burnout so far,
Hmm.
which is nice. But yeah, I just yeah, I like editing. I think that comes from my major too.
Hmm.
Because I went to school for media arts and animation,
Right.
so there was a lot
Yeah.
of video editing courses. So I enjoy that stuff. So, but yeah, people always say like, man, you post a lot, and I'm like, I mean, I'll at least make 3 drafts a day, or every couple days
Oh,
I'll have a few.
yeah.
But the thing is, it's like quantity or quality. Like
Hmm.
that's my biggest challenge is like I'm sure I make a lot of videos, but like not all of them get like,
Right.
I wish like they would get thousands of views and hundreds of engagement and stuff, but it's just, you know, it's something that we each have to like keep an eye out for. So like you keeping track of your engagement and all that, like that's being professional. That's being like you're a businesswoman. Like that's how you gotta treat
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
that's
always
true.
like I'm always like a couple steps behind that. So like
I'm also a little bit going, oh, feel so weird saying this, towards, let's say, influencer marketing.
yeah. Yeah.
A little bit in the sense, because I do more virtual consults, I like those more,
Hmm.
and they're easier for me to do also. They help more people. Not everybody has the budget for a full, makeover, a decorating makeover. So virtual helps everybody. I love it because it's challenging and I like problem solving. So you throw something at me, and what ideas can I come up with in that moment? And it gives other people, the client, gives them ideas so they can go and implement it on their timeline, on their budget. And so because I'm doing a lot more of that, a little bit of the influencer work, and for those, I need to really keep track of my numbers.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, yeah, you're influencing your influencer work. It's so weird that we have to like
Right?
make that the thing. That's like what we're calling it. But that being said, yours is genuine. Like, because I'm sure you see sometimes there's a lot of BS influencers. I mean,
Thank you. But
there's
those
there's
are
a
the ones
lot
who
of
get
them.
the engagement. Those are the
Yeah,
ones that get the engagement and all the, that's
yeah,
what it is. That's reality.
yeah. But yours is genuine. Like that's what I get out of it. So there's comfort in that. But I also see a lot of bogus one. It's just like I see what you're doing. You're not tricking me.
Yeah. My work is definitely hard as in I don't want to even call it an influencer work. So, I mean, I get this a lot from people, and a lot of people are not understanding that an influencer basically earns by recommending. I mean, this is a lot of people don't understand this. By recommending a product, they recommend a very generic product because the more people buy it, let's say 1,000 people buy it and they get 5% commission on it, that's how they make an earning. So they don't recommend personalized products. It is very hard for me to do that kind of influencer work because I recommend highly personalized product. I mean, that my whole thing is like, do what your personality type is. So I cannot recommend you a product, go buy this and decorate your home with it because we're different. So, so I have to find things to recommend which are like is going to work for everyone, such as decorating books is a big one for me. So everybody can find inspiration in those. And that's for a very long time. I didn't want to recommend products at all because it's about my personality type. It's not going to work for you. So I'm trying to work that around some in a way that it's helpful for everyone, but it's not like I I make sure that I'm not recommending anything like a product that you're going to decorate with, something you put on your coffee table, a bowl or something, because that's supposed to be personalized, supposed to be collected. So I'll recommend something that's more, what hardware do you need to hang your curtains? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
not like very personalized, but you can still use that hardware to make your space a little edgier or a little extra in a good way. So that's how I'm trying to be an influencer. Not trying, but it doesn't fit in that category if you
Yeah.
if
Well,
you
so it actually brought me to this thought here where it's like in a way it's like, oh, I feel so cringy saying this, but in a way, like it's almost like you kind of have to become an influencer to that level because that is that it gives people reason to come back to you and be like, Mehnaz has this great a catalog of these resources and
Mm,
all these things. It's like, like I see so many artists do the same thing. Like, these are the pens that I use because blah blah blah.
mm.
Like, it's like almost it has to come with the territory nowadays. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's how like our society is built on, is like, when someone that specializes on a thing, they're gonna also tell you what their sources are that
Mm,
gives them this quality of a product, or what quality of
yeah.
life,
Which
whatever
was
it is.
also again is still is hard because I get paid. People pay me to recommend them products.
Yeah.
So I cannot leak those resources. So it's
Yeah.
also makes it like the fine line where I cannot leak those resources, but I can help you find some other products.
Yeah.
Um, I really don't want to do affiliate marketing. Don't enjoy that, but
Yeah.
it's just the game.
I see it a lot with like on like YouTubers, they're if they're especially like, so like I've been doing like these toy reviews, and there's a lot of like upper scale like toy reviewers that they have like links provided that you can get these certain
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
So it's just like, and I guess they get like a percent from that
yeah, yeah,
because they're using
of
promo
course.
codes or whatever. So yeah, it's just like everyone's got to do it now, pretty much. It's like a
Well, yeah.
sponsor, right?
I
it's like you have
mean,
like
you're spending
sponsor
so much
content.
time making this content, you got to earn something.
Yeah,
But then, yeah, it's you need to understand like what are your values and are you just going to do something generic?
yeah. But it's
Or,
tough. It is tough to like, when you get into that, when you start getting into the influencer gear where like you got to know so many things that are useful that will fit someone's personality. Hell, for me, when it comes
well,
to like
yeah.
certain things like pencils, pen, like I usually go
See, how much
based
are
on
you can't,
budget.
you're not going to earn a lot in that, pencils and pen. You're not going to make a living out of it.
No, exactly. But it's just like, you know, people, yeah, people like to know these things. But yeah, like like for me, like I just kind of, I use a lot of products just because they're affordable. Like I go on a
Mm,
budget, thing. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it's very like it's like it's an individual kind of thing they got to worry about individuality. Yeah.
values. What are your values? My values are I can't recommend all Amazon products for the home. I'm talking about specifically home.
Yeah.
Quality is important because it's if I'm recommending a product and it breaks in 2 years, you're gonna come after me. So quality is important.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, that's the thing too. You got to risk, right? It's like,
Oh
oh,
yes.
it's like you said
Yeah.
this is like the best
E.
for whatever, and it's just, and then it
True.
just turns into a whole discussion.
It
Have you dealt
does.
with that in the past? Like have people
No, thankfully, no, because I make sure either I've used something personally or, I have a recommendation from a client who has personally used it and I've seen them using that thing. And when I do get emails like those that they want me to recommend a product, I have to try it on my, so if you want to give me a product, we can do an exchange collaboration, but I have to try the product myself. I'm just not going to go and recommend it to my clients because then my name is on stake.
Mhm.
So I try to only use really high quality, recommend high quality. For example, wallpaper. I use a lot of wallpaper. So if I'm recommending somebody wallpaper, I know it's the best vendors in the industry.
Mm.
Otherwise, there are lots of cheaper options, but because I have no experience, I've not used them, and it makes no sense. Like, obviously they're making a profit. So just imagine what is the value of that thing. Uh,
Mm.
for example, sofa is a big one. Buying a $500 sofa off Amazon or Wayfair, people recommend $1,000 sectional. So wood is way more expensive. Fabric and foam is more expensive. How are they even like able to put it? So just imagine how
Yeah.
cheap it is. So my goal would be that you buy a sofa, which yes, it's expensive. We'll try our best to stay in your budget, but I want something that's going to last you forever. Maybe something you can pass on to your kids. At least the frame is lasting and they can change the fabric.
Oh,
So
that's true.
those are also the values that have to align with my clients. And then obviously I help them in today's market. Everybody has a budget. A budget is a good thing. So the goal, my job is to come up with a plan where we can be within your budget with quality things. So what are the things that are going to make the biggest difference? We don't need to change everything. We need to know the things that are going to make the biggest difference in a space.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you brought up like buying a sofa. Like, yeah, we've definitely faced some challenges
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
pick out the right look, making sure the color matches our room, the environment, the
Comfort and yeah.
size, fabric, because we have cats, so it's like, oh, we gotta make
Yeah.
sure this isn't gonna
What did
tempt
you
them.
end up with for the cats?
What's that?
Suede? What fabric did you choose for the cats?
I don't know.
You
This is where my wife would be useful for the conversation.
Yeah, you should tell if your fabric is working, you should let everybody know because a lot of people have that question.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell you. Like, cause like I can tell you that our couch down here, um, they don't I don't yeah, they don't really like claw at it as much as the
Mm,
other one upstairs because the one
mm,
upstairs is more like it, it's got the that fabric that invites them. It's like,
mm.
almost like a carp. I don't know. I'm probably not going to use the right words to describe it, but it's got like carpet feeling where it's got texture. It's like soda. I don't yeah. I'd have to
Okay.
show you, but
You will have to show me, yeah.
the one down here is more like velvety kind of. Like
Yeah.
there's like barely of that
Yes,
texture that
suede or velvet is good for cats. They don't claw and the claws don't get stuck into anything. That's the best. Obviously, it's going to attract hair, but then you got to choose which. It's something is going to happen.
yeah. But so yeah, I mean yeah, the
It also is
couches
good
here.
for kids. Anybody who has kids, it cleans easier. Velvet or suede, it cleans easier. That's something we always recommend if you have pets or children
Oh
or
wow.
any spills you're scared of.
Oh, okay. My my dad was just in the family house. He would always have leather couches. I don't know why,
Mm.
but they were not they're like the best but worst kind of couches to have because in the summer when it gets so hot, but the leather gets nice and cool, like that feels
Ooh.
nice. But then in the winter, not so
The
nice.
leather's cool again, and
Yeah,
sometimes it feels sticky,
exactly. I mean,
scratches easily. One drip, the whole thing is gone.
yeah, like even in the summer times, like, oh man, it feels nice sitting in a nice cool couch, and then if you start sweating, it's like this feels gross.
Yeah, and you get up, especially if it's somebody's house.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
up and you're like, it's sticky.
Oh yeah.
You can hear the sound like your whatever you're wearing separating from
I
the
mean, it's like
leather.
if they have kids, right? And it's like, all right, there's multiple reasons why this couch is sticky, but if you're like an adult's house and it's sticky, it's like, all right, do I need a black light or anything? Do I need to investigate before I consider sitting on this thing? No.
Well, you find it out later after you've already sat on it. Then you're stuck to it. So,
Uh, oh, I do want to pivot to this question. I don't know if I actually asked you this online already, but you worked on this room. I don't maybe this is like a personal library, but you have like like the purple
hmm.
shelving. Is that one of your rooms?
So it
That's one
was
of
it's what's mostly like a formal sitting room or living room, family room. And that was that space in our house. That's how the builder had built it.
okay.
And it was barely ever used, like literally 5 times a year when you have overflow guests.
Hmm.
And so I turned it into a library with that dark, it's a reddish purple. And
It's a
so I had a
beautiful
few
color.
goals. Obviously, it seats overflow guests. And it's where my kids would I wanted to also get, but now I have teenagers, right? So two boys. My boys are both teenagers. My youngest is 10. So I want the kids, they just want to be in their own room all the time. And I wanted to get them out of there. So wanted to give them that space that's very cocooning and separates them from the rest of the world. That's what teenagers have going on in their head during those ages and hormones and everything and want to stay away from the family. But I wanted them to have another space so they can shut the door and they can be in their own world. When their friends are over, they can sit there. I put a table in there so if they want, they can do homework. My kids do Arabic lessons, so that happens there. So we turned it into a library, and the color was again based on color psychology, that cocooning feeling. Like, when you go to watch a movie and after 2 hours, when you come out, you feel like time had stopped and you were in a completely different world. That is the feeling we were going for.
Mm,
You shut the door, you're in a completely different world. And when you come out, you're like, okay, I'm back to reality. So you can be lost in that space.
I love that. Yeah,
So
kind of like a
yeah, it's a
time
library.
capsule.
What is it?
Kind of like a time capsule. You just like
Yeah,
you're just there for your moment, whatever. And yeah, whether you're studying,
right.
reading.
So a little bit more about it, my theory and my researchers, we want, so you've seen my work and I show a lot of my house and I've done my house as a practical example. Every room is a different color. And the idea is yeah, that's on purpose. Your whole house shouldn't be the same color.
Mhm.
And so if you think of all these rooms that you have in a house, they all serve different purposes. We have the kitchen for a completely different purpose. The home office is completely different. And you said you have your creative area is your in the basement. So that serves completely different purpose than a dining room. So the feeling in all of these spaces should be also different. You don't want to feel the same when you are going to sleep in your bedroom. You need a different environment, a different feeling, a different mental state to be in to go to sleep. But when you're drawing or in your office, you have to be in a different mental state. So those emotions should change, that physical feeling should change, and that's something that color would do. So that's the idea from one room to the other room when you move in you should feel like I'm in a different place. The feeling should change. It shouldn't remain the same throughout the house. And that's also when you don't feel like you want to go on vacation because you get that change in your home every single day,
Mhm.
every time you move from a room to room.
Yeah, it almost like kind of like influences you to like do something different. Like I'm in
So
this room because I want to do
100%.
this. Yeah.
It's like setting it on automation. Now you've
Yes.
created that. You don't have to force yourself. I need to be productive now. Automatically, those colors are going to create that change in yourself
Hmm.
and you will behave differently. Yeah. So you do it one time and set everything on automation and it works for you. You don't need to use willpower. That's the
Yeah.
idea. You got it.
Yeah, I kind of did a video on like yeah, sharing what my workspaces look like and you know, between my studio or office and my art space, there
Yeah.
is a sitting room, family room, if you want to call it that. That's where our couch is. We have a ottoman and but a buddy of mine, he's like, "Oh, this is the perfect man cave. You should just like have everything together." I'm like, "No, like I like having these separations and like also shared with the sitting area right next to it is a exercise space. So like out there, I don't have any other partitions like
Mhm.
besides this room. Everything is like has an imaginary partition, but each section is a different environment already. It's just, we just haven't had the time to repaint the walls, but I mean, so as of right now, I just make sure everything is set up differently so it provides it's like the next
Yeah.
thing instead of the color
Yeah.
I use like the actual surrounding the items like the furniture or whatever. That's the thing that kind of sets the mood for me in order to like pursue like why I came to this
Yeah, because
space
those are two
for.
different activities,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's so it gives your brain, the subconscious mind, the message that now when I'm sitting on this chair in front of this desk, this is the job that I have to do. I've changed my role. And as simple as, if you're working on your dining table and you're eating on your dining table, you can feel that it's not the same because like I need to change. So even switch your spot if you don't have an extra space, extra desk or something. Switching your spot when you're eating puts your mind into like I have to focus on eating now. It's not about working anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So
I'm really
yeah, don't
actually
work on your bed ever. You
it's
will never be productive because your brain is always like, we sleep here. The subconscious mind is this is the place to sleep. I'm not supposed to be productive on my bed.
yeah, no, that is such a great point, and it's so funny that uh you said that now because I mean this had to have been going on for almost a week now. My wife and I finally started eating at the dinner table again, like
Mm,
in our, I mean, it's small nook of the kitchen, the dining room area, but we finally started just like having dinner at the table because we're not on our phones for the most
mm.
part. Like I'll admit, there's a couple times where I check my phone for something or to like confirm something that we're talking about, but it like it really allows us to be able to just um be there with, like just with each other. even though like,
Yeah.
because like, we've been together for so long, so like we've become the couple that can actually just like have a meal and not speak a word. Like but it's nice
Yeah.
to be able to do that without any
Yes.
distractions,
Yes.
like because we're so used to, like we're so used to eating dinner on the couch watching TV, but now we literally sit down, we talk about our day, or we just have our silence and just like enjoy our meals together. And it's been very refreshing. Like,
Mm.
instead of having like uh, you know talking about something going on with the family while you're trying to like have your leisure time watching TV or a movie, but you're having
Mm.
this like in-depth conversation. It's like this kind of defeats the purpose of like doing something
I
together. Like
can't.
we could have had
Yeah.
this over dinner or something. Like, so
Yeah.
funny that you say that, like, we're actually using our kitchen space, our dining room space for dining, and it's like it really like changes the mood, it changes
Mm.
the intention. Like I really I love the idea of having different rooms, different colors. And my wife was kind of trying to do that with our house now, like, because we still have to catch up on repainting some of the rooms,
Yeah.
but for the most, it does have like each room does have like a different tone to it.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah, I'm
great.
all for it. I love that. It almost like eliminates that like moment of like, when you walk into the room, you're like, oh, why am I here? It's like if you walk into a room and you look, it's like, oh, this room is for this thing. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
probably came here to.
Yeah, the change in feeling, oh my God, it's just amazing, like from room to room.
Very impactful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I cannot imagine going back to like when the whole house was same exact
Yeah.
thing, the whole house. Uh, yeah, now when I see, even when I see videos, I feel like just cringe, that feeling like nothing is changing. I'm moving from one room to the other room and everything is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's like that spice level. Once you get used to it, can't go back. So it takes time, one step at a time. You can't have it like really spicy to start with. So one step, so people find it really hard. Like, how can I have all of these colors? It's too much. So take it a step at a time.
For sure. I like, cause yeah, my wife, for some reason, she likes a lot of like neutral colors.
Hmm.
So some of the rooms here have like a neutral gray or like a neutral
Like you
um
said, some reason.
blue. But I told
We
her,
can find the reason. There's
but I
always
told
a reason. That's the right thing.
yeah, I mean, I would have to like ask her again, but she's talking about repainting the basement. And I'm like, as long as it because I love natural light.
Hmm.
So, and I'm a blue. I like cool colors. So I'm like, as
Hmm.
long as like when we, cause ooh, I forget which direction our house faces, but like we get the sun throughout the entire day. Like it literally like will
Okay.
start
Yeah.
here and then end there. Like our backyard doesn't get as much sun as the front yard. So I
That's your
told
south
her,
facing, probably.
what's that?
That's your south facing.
I yes, I
That's
believe
where you would be getting the light all day. Yeah.
yeah. So I always tell them like as long as like the sun like heightens the brightness of the room, because then I feel energized.
Hmm.
And because I guess I favor blues, like that will certainly help me kind of be just more cognizant, more
Hmm.
calm. Like because I love blue skies. So if I
Hmm.
can get some sort of emulation of that, like I'm in a much more
So
calmer.
you have windows in the basement.
Yes. Like yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
window
great.
right here.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're all like around here. So it's nice to get, although
Right.
the so because like my art studio is towards the back corner. So
Mm.
that tends to be the darkest,
Mm.
even though it's still pretty bright, but that will tend to be the darkest because that's towards the backyard now. But as long as I can see it though, that's the thing too. Because I went through like I don't know how many, like a handful of years without a window in my office. So like I'm like, if I can just like look up from my desk and then see it,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm
That makes a
happy.
huge difference.
Yeah, like yeah, I need to see the sun. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Filipino. I don't know, but I need to be able to see the sun to like just yeah, I don't know. It's a mentality thing too. Like if I'm like dreading something or like, bad news, something sad, like if I can see some sun, like
Yeah,
I'm
the sun rises again. Yeah, it's hope.
yeah, hope. Exactly. But the reason why I brought your that room, your personal libraries, I that color, I love that color, and I feel like I've said something online, but yeah, I loved your setup there. It's just like that looks really cozy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It did turn out amazing. And even though we used a very dark color, so another reason the dark color worked in that room, it's north facing. So it's never going to be bright anyways. So that's actually a good point. If a room is, so if there's no light, you can put the whitest white. It's not going to brighten up the space because color is reflected, right? We see color because of light. So if there's no light, and there's no point in fighting it and putting in a lighter color. So that was one reason. That was a north facing room. It's never going to be bright. It's just has that white. We can put artificial light, which I did put a lot of artificial light in there. So going with that, not fighting against it, like I said, if I painted it white, it's never going to be as bright as a south facing room. That was one thing. And another question that I get a lot about that room is it doesn't feel like it's a very dark color, but it's not depressing. Or people who have come and sat in that room, they're like, it still feels so open and bright. Bright, not in the sense of white, light bright, but still feels brighter. And the trick to that is that I used a very high sheen paint. So it reflects light. Even though we're getting northern lights during the day, it reflects that light. And like all the walls are reflecting light. So now they're reflective surfaces. So that's what keeps it open.
Mm,
So
nice.
that's a little trick. If you're using a very dark color in any space, and if you increase the sheen, it's going to become all reflective surfaces and it doesn't feel like a dungeon.
Mm, yeah, it just yeah.
It's
I
cocooning in a
imagine
good way, not a dungeon.
not a dungeon. I can imagine like if we had a space like that, a room like that, that would be the place I would want to be to like deep like what's the word? Like
Yeah,
just
like
energize down, de-energize.
yeah, deep contemplation or really focus. Like, and that's why it's a library. It's not an office because I don't want that in an office or a bedroom. It's
Mm.
like really focusing, kids can get homework done, or more about intimate conversations. Like it can seat a max of 5 people. So it's
Oh,
usually for that one-on-one conversation.
oh, that sounds
Or
nice.
again, like I said, reading, homework. It's a library, so you can get a book and read.
Mhm.
Um, or anything that requires deep contemplations and meditation or just religious meditation. We
Mm.
do that a lot there too.
Oh, that's really nice. Have I mean, I don't know if your client base, if they're like into podcasts, but have you ever been approached? Like, has anyone asked you like, hey, have you considered doing a podcast? Your colorful podcast or something like that? Has
My
anyone
own
ever?
podcast?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I feel like I'll tell you what my fear. My fear is like, how am I going to create so much content? You create so much content. It's always like, do I have a year's? I'm thinking to start blogging, like properly blogging.
Mm.
And what I really want to do is, and if anybody's listening and they want to send in a picture of a room with a dilemma they have, I would love to feature that on the blog.
Okay.
And just want to do simple, I mean, you can send me a few pictures
I was
also.
just gonna say
Yeah.
I would totally volunteer
Situation,
for that.
something that's not working for you, and I'm going to recommend, obviously, answer those questions and recommend 10 things you can do to improve it. So
Mm,
that's one something I really want to write about, not full projects,
okay.
um, smaller bite-sized things that somebody can take some idea from there and implement it and make their space one step, you know, one step better at a time.
Yeah. Have you
So I'm thinking
considered?
about blogging, but podcast would be easier in the sense I can talk. It's
It,
writing is harder for me,
yeah.
but I've never thought about that. I want to I'll tell you this. I want to write a book, and I see that in my future, a book about
Mm,
um the colors in your home,
okay.
all different colors that would work in the different rooms of the house. I think yeah, that should be there.
That'd be great. Cause then, yeah, I mean, you could probably have like some like testimonials from clients to, find each unique client that you've dealt with and,
Mm.
just to
And why
show
we
the
chose those
range, the
options. Yeah.
diversity, that would be
Yeah.
that'd be really nice. But yeah, the podcast, it's not for everyone, I'll admit. Um, it depends on their comfort level on like having to speak. And yeah, I mean it's certainly like a format they have to get used to, but I feel like with your brand, your business, like there's so many like you have plenty of options you can go with in order to I guess like to expand. Like I could see this as a podcast. Sure, it may not have to be 90 minutes. It could be as long as an hour. It could even be shorter. Like I know some podcasts that do like a half hour,
Yeah.
and but the same you can just kind of do that on different different formats or platforms. You could probably do blogs like on you if you start a YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube
Mm.
or no?
No,
Like I'm
no.
sure
I'm
like
open to your ideas, what you see from there. Yeah. Tell
well
me.
it's really just
I
kind of
am thinking about YouTube. What do you think?
I think it could work. I mean it really it could it would expand you sort of as like an influencer for sure, because now it allows people just even a little more insight. And it's YouTube's good for some that for both that have a short attention span and long attention span
Hmm,
because you can have your shorts, which is basically reels,
yeah.
or you can have your 5 maybe 10 minute blogs about a certain subject. Like there's audiences for both things, and then you can treat it like a you have there's a community section where you can just make regular posts like Facebook. I mean, because
Mm,
like a lot of these social media platforms are becoming somewhat the same. I feel like YouTube has sort of become, I don't want to say like the ultimate platform for like content creators, but it really does allow similar features as to like Facebook. You can do your video posts, you can do your just post an image and then write about it, or
Oh,
you can
on
do short
YouTube?
form.
I didn't know that part. You can just post an image
Yeah,
and write over it on
they're
YouTube?
they're tougher. It depends on like if you have like a very strong following, then yeah, people are gonna look at your posts.
Mm,
But yeah, you can do short form, long form videos. You can do live streams too. So if you want to do a live session discussing wallpapers or just colors, furniture, things of that nature, it just allows you to expand a little bit more than how, what you're allowed or not allowed, but like what Instagram
Instagram.
offers.
And
Yeah.
it's not searchable, so yeah.
Yeah, and then you use your hashtags the same way. People will use your hashtags to find you, and yeah, I mean, I think you could it could certainly benefit you.
Hmm.
It's just like any platform. You just kind of got to build it up, and
Right.
who knows? You might have people in your clientele that do hop on YouTube every once in a while
Hmm.
to learn these tips. I mean, honestly, I could probably tell my wife too, be like, hey, like if just see my friend's channel, go check out, see what she has to say
Yeah.
about a certain situation, I gave her your Instagram handle too, for which by the way is your colorful home on Instagram for those listening. But yeah, it depends how much you want to kind of expand. Like if you like
Yeah.
if you want to become more into making a little bit longer, um, form content, yeah, YouTube might be great. It's just,
Mhm.
you just gotta have patience like anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know like for me, I want to say majority of like my new subscribers, they see my short videos, and
Mm,
but that was because I was very consistent about it. Because again, when you're doing the same thing but for two different platforms, it's all going to be the same. So doing all these reels for Instagram, I pretty much would post majority of them
okay.
on YouTube if it
Yeah.
applied to my channel. But I like making longer videos too, so that's why I I don't know. I
Does
started
YouTube
back
do better for you than Instagram?
just in terms of like if I just want to, again, because I just enjoy making videos just to
Mm,
make videos, just for editing. So when I want to do, if I want to show the entire process, but not in a matter of seconds of an art project,
mm.
and even like provide some voiceover commentary, like, yeah, like it'd be nice to have like a 5 minute video on like this thing where I can share more and not be like, this is a blah, 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 like some people's videos are just like
Yeah, you
spitfires.
got to do that. Sometimes I have to speak really fast because I have to fit it in that time.
Like I gotta get this done in 30 seconds. You know?
Yeah, because yeah,
I mean, it's so funny because my wife always points out my work voice. So when she sees my videos, she's like, this does not sound like you." Like if people catch my clips from the podcast, like
yeah.
that's like the most natural speaking voice that you'll get from me. But in my other ones, like it's so hard to like sound as natural as you want, but you're in a time constraint. So it's just like now you just sound like you're just sped up. It's so yeah, it's
Yeah.
just funny. But yeah, I think it's worth a while. Like, but if it fits in your schedule too, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a busy woman and
Yeah,
you're a
you gotta
parent,
make,
so
well, you gotta make time for it. Yeah.
you just have to. It would require making some small adjustments to like your itinerary because now you're
Mhm.
making content for three platforms versus two, or but I think it could go well for you. I think
Okay.
you have a lot of knowledge, you have resources on, information. Like it's just I don't know, for me it seems like a no-brainer, honestly. I think you're just
Really?
yeah, for real.
I
And
like
like
this style. I think I feel the pressure when as a decorator, that I'm supposed to show a room also in the transformation. Then what happens is at the end, I'm not sharing any knowledge. I just don't do anything because that's a lot to edit and put together. But if I would just have to sit and I have to talk about one concept,
yeah,
I think I can do that.
because that's the thing, right? If you like when you look back on your reels, right? Let's say there's been a couple that you're like, oh, this one, even though it's got this much engagement or whatever, it's like, but I feel like it would have been better if it was just a little bit longer, if it
Oh
was
yeah,
just a couple minutes
I could
longer,
share a
right?
lot more.
So
So
like,
much.
so you could just basically just have two versions of that content because now you can do it for your Instagram and now you can do it for you do the longer version for YouTube. So I mean, and you can bridge the two, right? It's like if you want to learn more on this subject, just visit my
Yeah.
YouTube channel and you
Yeah.
get the full thing. So you
Yeah,
have
that's
there's so many avenues that can help that would make
for
you
the
grow even
intellect.
more, I believe.
Lately in my Instagram bio, it says this content is for the intellect.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it
took me a
does.
very long time to actually put that word in it because it is, if you're going for looks and for trends, then I'm not the right person. But if
Mm-hmm.
you really care about the logic and the reasoning, the science, then my content is for you.
Mm.
So, which you reminded me, the intellects are going to sit and listen. They do care about
It's
it.
true. Yeah. And it really does set the tone for your page and your business. Like this isn't just for, my reels content isn't just for doom scrolling, like you're getting
Mm.
information. So yeah,
But
you're
sometimes
gonna
it,
you're
sometimes you have
more
to make that kind of stuff.
I get
I
it.
made that the candy audio that was going trending audio.
The candy
Ooh,
one.
candy. I was like, what did I do? Just like, have you
Which
seen
one
it? You should see it.
is it?
It's
The how to successfully kidnap me? Is it?
yeah, that one. Like, seriously, I did that? Just look at me. I'm not that type of person.
I was
Try to
just
make
gonna
that.
say this one is like, at least like the wording, it felt a little uncharacteristic of you. I'm like, it was,
Well, you can actually kidnap me like that. Like I'm a kid in
but
a
then the
candy store.
visual, when seeing the cover for, it, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like this is probably gonna regards like tiling, or something like that. But the wording for it, I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like I would not have expected you to say.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm like,
Yeah.
shit. It was so easy to make it. So I don't regret it. It didn't take a lot of time. So that was the good thing. But some things you make for the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's one of those. And it just worked. So it's the objects that I'm picking up are a sneak peek of what I will be using in that project. So that's why it
Yeah.
worked. It wasn't as random.
Well, I think it's
But it was
like
like, that's not me.
if it serves something, like if there's like a purpose for this
Oh
thing,
yeah.
even though it's part of a trend, but yours is
Yeah.
actually providing something, it's not just like a
True, true, true.
shallow
It's connecting back to the content and what's going on.
a
So
hundred
if
percent.
the listeners are interested, I'm working on a bathroom makeover, a white box, build a great bathroom and adding personality to it. Because like you just mentioned that in the shower, you're doing all the thinking. I believe that people sit on the throne and plan out their day. A lot of people do that. So there you go. So that's what that space is going to be about. Like you want to be in a good environment, get the best thoughts, those life-changing thoughts. So you
Oh my
should feel
God.
good, right? So those are the people who this bathroom is for.
That is so funny because that's in one of my videos about the Muse.
Yeah.
It's very personal, but yeah, there is a shot of me on my porcelain throne taking notes. And like that again, a lot that's
Everybody
like
does it.
yeah.
They're not going to accept it, but everybody does it. So I do
I
mention
don't-
that in one of the videos.
what's that?
I do mention that in one of the videos. You should go back and check. You're not seeing my videos. That
Well, I have the page in front of me now, so I'm making a
you
point
should
to
go back
just
and check that and follow the bathroom transformation.
for sure. But yeah, you're gonna see sudden random likes from me, and that's me just getting you back into my algorithm.
Next
Because
step, take it to the next step. Leave a comment, then the algorithm is going to like
yes,
it. Okay,
true.
everybody, please comment on
Absolutely.
anyone's post.
Yeah, that's a sure call to action for I mean,
Mhm.
and you know what? Because we are getting close to the end already, and I will say, yeah, definite if you whether you just got a new home, but or maybe just looking for a new like makeover for your home, check out Mehnaz Khan on Instagram at your colorful home because so much to gain from this. And yeah, like I said, you have so much knowledge on these things. I mean, even if you want to hear it in longer format, hearing the introduction of like the your color psychology and everything, you can go back to our very first episode, which is I think is like in the 140s or something like that. But yeah, I mean, definitely sure go to her Instagram page for immediate access to this like useful information because yeah, and just so I mean, even just like going like scrolling through your grid is just like so eye pleasing. So it's just a lot of beautiful work that Minaz posts here. So definitely check her out, please.
I appreciate the feedback.
Yes. And yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the the candy one because I yeah I'm noticing the action figure one. I think that's great.
Oh, the
Uh,
action, yeah, the toy, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, it turned out well. ChatGPT did a good job.
So I got to tell you something. Before we wrap this up, I will tell you I've started using Chat GPT.
Huh. Yeah,
So
we talked about that last year ago.
yeah, well, because I was kind of like I mean I'm still I have like my concerns with generative
Mm-hmm.
AI, but I've also uh, said that it is certainly a helpful tool because, like, I feel like I have to be clear about my stance. Like, I'm not fully anti-AI. I do
Mm-hmm.
worry about generative AI art, of course, for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. But I mean, I believe in AI, use for many things, health, like all these things. Like when I do my solo episodes discussing the current state of AI, I try to cover like the good and the bad. It's just it's sometimes it's difficult to just focus like on the good when there's a lot of like more concerning things,
Mm.
more pertaining to the creative side, film industry, music, like stuff like that. But I've also covered how it can benefit, the like medical industry, prosthetics, blind people, deaf people, like all that stuff. Like AI can be very helpful with that. So,
Mm.
but it's easy to fearmonger.
Yeah.
I try my best not to, but I have started using Chat GPT, and it is fascinating. I will say it's very fascinating, but more importantly, it is helpful. Um, I like to think it helps me stay not stay on track, but like yeah, it really helps me like flesh out my ideas better. Because
Mm.
to put it simply, I spend less time on the toilet sometimes because I already have.
ChatGPT.
Because
So what I use ChatGPT is, or the way I'm using it is, I'm just going to do a brain dump, and then I've just repeated a few things, so it just sorts those thoughts.
well, yeah,
That
and
that's
yeah, I kind of use it to kind of because like I have when I write, especially if I want to write a script for a post or something like a
mm,
caption, I write like I talk, and I
yeah.
do
ChatGPT
that.
doesn't do that. That's the
Yeah,
part I hate. It doesn't know persuasion, which is a huge part of marketing, and it cannot write like, we changed that. We have to
yeah.
write like we talk.
Well,
So their
like
connection, it changes the whole voice. I can't use it for that purpose. So.
yeah, and I made it a point to be like I like to use slang, like I talk this way and stuff. So it's kind of funny when it tries to emulate that. Like I can see when it's trying. And it's like it's using like Gen Z slang. I'm like, when I say slang, I'm talking like 90s, 2000s slang. Like I'm not saying mid. I'm not saying like whatever the next thing
Whatever
is.
they say.
It's like nice try,
Yeah.
chat, but not
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I'd let you know because I know we spoke
That's
on
funny.
that on one of the episodes, but
Yes, we had that conversation. You asked me that question too. The
yeah,
whole year.
I mean, it's I just I find it fascinating to just see where everyone is,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean it's part of life now. It's definitely, here to stay. That's what I always say. And it's like why fight it? I think it's just, especially like with like visual artists like myself, a lot of them are like, they got the FU AI, or they got the no AI symbol, and it's just
Hmm.
like I get it, but
Yeah,
instead of like fighting against it, it's just like you
it's
gotta,
hard.
just try to, you know, what's the word? Trying to improve your thing, your craft, your medium, and just, and
I'll
and
tell you a
just like,
problem it has created for me as a decorator is I'm a part of on Facebook just groups where people put their decorating dilemmas. Not that I answer any of those, but the people who answer them are not decorators also.
mm,
So just to see what sort of things people are coming up with. So people are always putting the picture of their outside of the house, and they're like, "Can somebody use AI and transform this?" AI does every single time the same. All the houses are now looking the same, And people have those expectations that me as a decorator, I'm going to do a full, a room rendering and show them every single thing in there. Okay, yes, that's possible through SketchUp and Photoshop, but that comes with a price tag. Of course, I'm not, even if I do it myself, it's a lot of time. So I um, outsource it. But number one, are you willing to pay that price tag? Okay. Number two, it's not going to be exactly the same in real life. The lighting in your room is again going to be different. So the paint is going to look different in your room than whatever the rendering is. So this AI thing is just putting in their mind that they can always have a rendering and the free rendering is just going to be exactly how the room looks. That's not real. The AI rendering is extremely artificial looking, but that is becoming a problem now
Yeah, it
as an
creates like
expectation.
false expectations, right?
It is, it is. And so many times I'm like, yeah, sure, we can get you the rendering, but you have to pay for it, number one. Number two,
Mhm.
it's still not the same because the
Yeah.
paint looks different in your light than the light we're using in the rendering. And so yeah, you notice it's becoming harder, and those AI rooms are so artificial.
Yeah, I
So
mean
it's
that's
not the
why,
same, people.
that's why like mechanics give you an estimate, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be that number, you know.
Yeah,
As much as it sucks to, get an estimate and it's way over, I mean, sure, there might be some effort, there might be some, leeway in there, but it's just like, it's an estimate because it's an estimate.
yeah,
So the final
yeah.
product may not add up to that. It might actually
Always. There's
be
so many
different.
factors that are, now the tariffs. If we're in the middle of the project, the tariffs, either you make your purchases now, but if 2 months later you're going to make those purchases, I have no control over those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you find someone you trust, they're not going to cheat on you for a
Yeah.
few dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this short conversation with somebody in the comments on one of because I did a video um kind of like addressing the Studio Ghibli AI art that's been going around where
Okay.
these
I don't know about it.
so people would take, like memes or like photos or just photos of themselves and turn themselves into this um art style. There's this famous studio called Ghibli Studio.
Okay.
They
Like
create
the
all these.
storybook thing that's going on also, like what is that, Bunny Peter Rabbit storybook? People are putting their interiors and turning it. I get the idea.
I mean, it's the
I'm
same concept, but
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's taking from like an actual brand or in this case a style of this artist. His name is um oh why am I blanking on his name right now? But he's done these famous films like called El Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, um, Hayao Miyazaki. That's his name. And but he has this very famous art style, anime
Mm,
style, and now people are using ChatGPT to create
okay.
themselves in this style. Now this
Mm,
takes a lot of opportunity out of my hands because I've done so many commissions where I'm turning people
mm,
into comic book characters, cartoon
mm,
characters, so on
mm.
and so forth. But
Yeah.
someone was talking about like, oh, so now I got to pay somebody to draw this character for me. Like, thankfully, I have a boyfriend that can draw, so I just I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. Like, if you just
Yeah.
want something for fun, that's the thing. People, that's the challenge about these things with generative AI is that now it gives people that opportunity for like instant gratification rather than purchasing art, let's say personalized art from an actual human artist. You build not only connection, but there's like this certain value that you're getting from this creative work as opposed to just like entering a prompt in an app and then it just generates this. Like there's no like emotional connection with it. It's just like, I wonder what I would look like in this form or that form instead of like,
Yeah. The value be
the
doing.
value of it. So, but I told him like, hey, if this was just for fun, like I get it. Go ahead, ask your partner to do it for you. But if you're gonna ask somebody else who's a professional and does this for a living, of course you're gonna get a price on it because this is what they do. This is how they make their bills and whatnot. So it's like you could like no artist like will do something for free, honestly. Like I mean I do for like for certain family, but like it all depends on the thing. Like I but
Yeah, yeah, we've all done it.
yeah, we all done it.
Like you said, we're emotional people. It's hard to ask for the money.
Yeah. Like, like I did a portrait for my wife, well not my of my wife's grandfather who
Oh, you
recently
shared
passed
that
away.
recently, yeah.
So I kind of just did it for me and the his wife like loved it so much. So obviously I'm not gonna charge her for it.
Yeah.
She offered, but I'm like, this is a present. This is a gift. Like I'm like I initially did it
Oh,
for
that was
me.
sweet of
This
her
is
to
my
offer, yeah.
yeah. But if she said, I don't know, funerals, no, that when it comes that that just takes that's a longer discussion. But if a stranger or even like a casual friend came up to me asking me to do them a favor, I'd be like, well, I don't we might have to discuss prices because I that's now you're requiring my
That is still the
labor.
hardest for me.
Yeah.
It's always like, ugh.
Another
Uh,
conversation. Oh my goodness. Well, Minaz, we've actually punched in 2 hours here.
oh,
How'd
oh,
you what'd you think? Did you have a good time?
yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
all good talking to you. And we should be back next year and see how the college transformation transition is going on.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you have an open invitation. So whenever you
Yeah,
want to come
I know
back,
that now.
we could always talk more about your business or just I mean from here on out these are just um opportunities for us to get to know each other better because that's how I am. Like if I really hold dear to my heart the term of friendship, like
Yeah.
so I love having guests come back because it just allows me to get to know them better. And yeah, and then it's I'm learning a little bit more about your husband, so that just creates more excitement about you know what we're building here essentially.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I want to add one more thing. I just
Sure.
realized my son is into comics. So I think that's
Oh.
another this yeah, my 17-year-old, he is building his comic collection.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's getting serious. Every week he has a book, a comic book. I'm learning all those the slips and how you store them and
Yeah.
I forget
This-
the terms. Okay. Maybe he should talk to you.
Sure. Hey, I'm totally open for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, But yeah, I mean, any last words for the audience tuning in? Anything you
Yeah,
want to
induce
plug?
color in your life. There is life is too short to live in just the gray zone.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It especially these days, there's a lot of dark stuff going on, and I think it's important
Yeah.
to brighten up your environment.
Yeah,
You
your
know?
personal spaces. Absolutely. Yeah. And if
Yes,
anybody has a dilemma, I do virtual consultations, so you don't even have to be in town.
that's right. So yes, everyone who has been tuning in up to this point, thank you so much for joining our conversation. Again, if you want to follow Manaz on Instagram, it's at your colorful home. And this page is for intellectuals, okay? but but if you are looking to redecorate your home to make it more personal, um, she is certainly the one to check out. So definitely check her out. And hey, you just keep up with her because she's got some projects coming up. Talking about blogs earlier. So yeah, um, and I guess that's it. So Minaj, thank you once again for joining me, and I look forward to future sessions with you. And for everyone else, please stay safe, stay driven, stay healthy, and hopefully I will catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.